I want to start with Popo because he's someone that over the last couple of practices, I've been told by veteran linebackers, he's really starting to get it when it comes to understanding the scheme. And he's really starting to pop and make plays. That's the true freshman linebacker who's got South Florida ties, but he's out of Georgia. He loves Miami. What can you tell me about what you saw in Popo Aguirre during his recruitment, and what kind of an impact do you think he can make year one?
First off, this is a kid that was coveted by Alabama. Let's start with that. Anytime Alabama wants a defensive player on the recruiting trail, like early on, this is a guy we covet. Good sign. That was his second pick. I asked him about it earlier this spring. I met with him in just outside Atlanta. His brother was a part of the Under Armour camp, and he was there watching, and I came up and I interviewed him. By the way, just super dude. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, very positive. Miami fans, like going to Canes Fest and stuff, you get a chance to meet him. He's a dude. And as far as football goes, there are very few players that you're going to see at any position that have the same kind of nature that he does off the field and on. Like Ray Lewis is super guy off the field. Everybody talks about it. But on the field, he wanted to murder people. You know what I mean? Like he just ran through guys. Papa's same way.
Yeah.
He goes through. He doesn't go around. He doesn't swing. He goes through. Physicality, his ability to hit, it is just all about what he is. I mean, he is physical across the board. And he's also a guy that wants to learn. He was talking to me about how he breaks down to make tackles and do different things, learning the schemes. He's all for it. He's just a football nut, and it would not surprise me when his playing days are over, he becomes a coach. He's that kind of guy. So great kid, powerful, and I'm not surprised that Basant and all these Maligo, his older brother, have been talking about him because this is a kid that I knew wanted it off the field, learning the playbook and knowing all the little things you got to do to play as a freshman. Because it's hard to play as a freshman at linebacker. It's a big responsibility mentally. That's a good sign as well. So I knew he was going to be good. I didn't know he was going to play right away, but it sounds like he's got a chance to be in the rotation from game one. That's awesome, man, because it is rare for linebackers to do that.
Blue, there's a lot to like about Miami's linebacker room this year, some of the young guys they brought in, and someone who really shined with the first day of pads on was Malik Bryant, the true freshman out of Jones High School in Orlando, who is really explosive, very natural pass rusher, Blue. I'd love to hear your scouting report because I'm sure you covered Mr. Bryant in high school more closely than most people out there did. And do you think this is a player that can get on the field and make a difference as a freshman?
Well, think about this. When Miami was recruiting him, a lot of people were just, we got to have him. He's got to be a must in the class. So when he did commit and eventually did sign, there were a lot of people who said, you know what? Give this young man an opportunity to get on campus. And once he does, I'm going to show you what he did. Because at Jones, he kind of freelanced. He did what he really wanted to do, whether he wanted to be a rush and outside linebacker, inside, because he was big, strong, fast, and he was probably as good as anybody that, in the state of Florida. So fast forward a year, and here's somebody right now who's only doing what everybody expected him to do. The only thing that he'll lack, just like Malago or any of these other freshmen, and another guy we'll talk about at a later date is Popo, and he's turning it out as well. I talked to some of the coaches over there, and they're thinking, and you and I talked about him when he first committed, how much of an asset he was going to be, but Malik is just one of those guys, especially at the position of linebacker, where right now they have legitimately three guys. Francisco Mauagoa, Mauagoa's brother, who's a Francisco. Is that I can't
Francis is the offensive lineman. Francisco's the linebacker,
and also Wesley Besant and Corey Flagg. Who people want to keep shoving Corey Flagg off to the side, but he's been their leading tackler the last couple of years, and he's been the dog. So now you add a Bryant or a Popo or one of these guys that are starting to emerge for them, and things get a lot more interesting. And that's why when you look at it, depth becomes more of a priority to getting better, and they have. And yeah, he's really going to be a difference maker, and he'll get on the field. You can't, like they say, you can't park the Ferrari in the garage. I mean, you got to take it out for a test drive. And yeah, he's going to get the depth chart. He really definitely will. He's too big and too strong and too much of an asset.